The mentality you bring to hypnotherapy is critically important. Your desire to change is the most critical element in the change process. No matter what a hypnotherapist does, hypnotherapy will not work if you don't deep down really want to change. Other dispositions necessary to experience the hypnotransformation are the willingness to focus and courage to take action. You have to want and you need to be willing. Though often portrayed as such, hypnosis cannot create the desire to change. That desire must come from you. Clients tell me they desire to change, but when asked what they're willing to give up in order to experience change, they are reluctant. Unfortunately, there is no free lunch. A cup that is full can receive no more. Therefore, you must empty your cup before you can receive new blessings. This means you have to clarify what specifically you want to change and be clear about what you are willing to trade for it. You must be willing to give up the old to make room for the new. It is always a trade. You must know what part of your life and your identity is associated with any particular behavior and decide if you are willing to give it up and let it go in exchange for something more desirable. Nothing comes from nothing. The first law of physics is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. You cannot get rid of energy. You can only transmute it from fear into love. The desire to change must come hand in hand with a willingness to let go of your old identity. A large part of who you are and what you do is connected to a personal identity. Unless you're willing to give up the old, die to your old self, it is not possible to create a new and healthier self. Your behavior defines your identity. If you have adopted a victim identity, you will have trained people around you to expect victim behaviors from you and to support that identity. Changing your behavior changes your identity. But that change also evokes discomfort in people who have become accustomed to your prior identity. Hypnotherapy helps locate the energy you invest in fears and reinvest that energy to propel you from being stuck to being free and happy. So you are ready to give up the status quo? Becoming a non-smoker could mean you have to find new social activities. You would not like being around your friends smoking anymore. Are you ready for such a change? Can you give up your smoker identity? Being overweight also carries many expectations from friends and family. A female who loses a large amount of excess weight may become a threat to girlfriends as they go out clubbing. And family members can feel that their lifestyle is being criticized when you no longer share their eating habits.
Let's say you are committed, pay a fee, and schedule a hypnotherapy appointment. Does that mean you are really ready for change? While those are good indications, the rubber may still not make contact with the road. Your readiness for change is proportional to your willingness to let go of the old to make room for the new. Many patients say they are ready for change, but discover during the intake interview that giving in to the change means that they have to give up aspects of their lifestyle they had not considered. This is the time when someone discovers how willing they really are and makes a decision whether or not to proceed.
A 50-year-old woman came to me for weight loss. We discovered during the intake interview that she had a fear of intimacy. My interpretation was that she had hidden behind an armor of adipose tissue all her life. While on one hand she was lonely and longing for a mate, deep inside she was afraid of not being good enough if he did indeed show up. Through an in-depth interview and some negotiation, I got her to accept her fear and to deal with it through hypnotherapy. As she worked to resolve her fear of not being good enough, she became increasingly aware that it was unnecessary to hide behind her fat. She began to eat more healthfully and started to engage in physical activity. This led to gradual but natural weight loss. As she gave up an identity of "I am not good enough," the pounds rolled off.
Being fat provided protection for this woman who feared intimacy. Making herself unattractive gave her a reason to avoid involvement with a man. Helping to rid her of the fear of not being good enough resulted in no more use for the armor of fat. Weight loss was a natural consequence of her behavior changes.
In another case, a 60-year-old man, who I'll call Mike, came to me for smoking cessation. His physician had told him to quit smoking or face possible premature death. We completed the first session, and I suggested a follow-up since he had smoked so long. At the next session, he reported he had stopped smoking but was struggling with the non-smoker status. Since his hypnosis, cigarettes did not taste good anymore, but he found himself less happy than before he had quit smoking. Further discussion revealed that as an older man who was single and wealthy, he enjoyed going to casinos to socialize. His current non-smoker status meant he had to give up a very enjoyable social outlet. He decided he would rather risk his health and continue smoking than give up his social life. He made the reasoned choice, and I returned him to his smoker status.